Good morning, students. For 7th standard, today we are going to start with the term 3 portion. That is, the term 3, we are going to see the poem part. So, your poem is Sea Fever. In your term 3, we have the first unit of the poem is Sea Fever. So, this particular poem was written by the author John Massfield. John Massfield. So, let's see the introduction about the author. So, John Massfield, his date of birth is June 1, 1878, and his lifetime is up to May 12, 1967. John Massfield was a poet best known for his poems of the sea, Saltwater Ballads, 1902, that includes Sea Fever and Cargoes, and for his long narrative poems such as The Everlasting Mercy, 1911. So, John Massfield was educated at King's School, Warwick. Massfield was apprenticed aboard a windjammer that sailed around Cape Horn, where he spent his lifetime in reading and writing. He left the sea after that voyage. Okay, voyage means a long travel. He returned to England, worked for a time as a journalist for the Manchester Guardian, and settled in London. He was the poet laureate of England from 1930 until his death in 1967. So this is the small introduction about the author John Massfield. Okay. Now let's move on to the poem. So the poem title is Sea Fever. Okay, that is here in this poem. The author has explained how the sea will appear and what are the things that he wished of how to see the sea and how it would be. So that is the poem part. Now let's move on to the stanzas. So now let's see the first stanza. So here the stanza goes, I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the waves kick and the winds sing and the wind's song and the white sails shaking and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again for the call of the running tide. It is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. Okay, so we will see the first stanza explanation each line by line. Okay, I must go down to the seas again. So the author want to go down the seas. So we all know how the sea and how the sea depth will be. So the author wanted to go down the sea again to the lonely sea and the sky. So when we go deep into the sea, we can see the lonely sea. That is the sea which is very alone, and also we can see the sky which is very alone. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. That is, the author is telling, I want a tall ship. That is, always a ship will sail in the sea. So the ship that is sailing in the sea should be tall. Okay, and also there should be a star. So star means it is nothing but the North Pole star. That particular star is usually used to show the direction of the ship, that is towards the star direction. If we move, we will be able to move towards the north direction. That is what star direction is. So, and a star to steer her by. Steer is nothing but to control the direction that a vehicle is going in. Steer is nothing but to control the vehicle direction. Okay, so in whatever the direction the vehicle is moving, so if you want to control the direction of the vehicle, it is necessary to steer it. So now the author is telling, according to the way of the star, we can steer the ship's steering. Okay, that is the meaning. Now we will see the next line. And the wheels kick, and the wind song, and the white sails shaking. Okay, now the author is telling, and the wheels kick. So we all know kick is nothing but something to hit with the foot. Okay, that is the wheels kick. So when we move the ship, we know that we have to rotate the steering that is present in the ship. Okay, that we call it as wheels kick. And also if you see the wind's song, that is there will be a huge blow of wind, that is the breeze or the wind, that is, and the kath. Okay, that is when we sail the ship, that particular wind will be blowing. So when it blows, it will produce a sound. So that sound we call it as wind song. And white sails shaking, that is, white sails shaking is nothing but when you see the sea along with the sky, that particular nature, that is, there will be a white sail. White sail is nothing but on the top of the ship you can see a white cloth that has been there for covering for the people who are sitting on the ship. Okay, that particular part will be shaking because of the wind, that we call it as white sails shaking. And a gray mist on the sea's face. So if you see the sea, there will be a gray color mist. Okay, that is the mist we all know. It is nothing but the cloud made up of small drops of water that is present in the air, which makes very difficult to see the sky. Okay, that we call it as mist. So the gray color mist, the mist will be in gray color, which is nothing but the cloud. Okay, the cloud on the sea's face, so which is nearer the sea. So nearer the sea we can see the cloud on the sky. And a gray dawn breaking, so we can also see a gray color dawn. Dawn is nothing but we will call in Tamil as vidiyal, that is a light of the day. First light of the day is called as dawn. So the dawn will be breaking. Okay, when and you can see the gray mist on the sea's face, that is the cloud, and also the gray dawn breaking. Gray color dawn means the first light of the day, that also will be opening, and it will be the light will be coming for the earth. Next you see, I must go down to the seas again for the call of the running tide. So now the author is telling that I must go down to the seas again. So he is very much excited to see the sea. So he is telling that I have to go down the sea again. So he wanted to go down again and again for the call of the running tide. So because the running tide is calling him, so because of his call the author wanted to go inside the sea. That is, tide means it is nothing but the rise and fall of ocean water. Okay, that is the rise and fall of water is called as tide. So in Tamil we call it as alaygal. Okay, so because of that particular tide, the author wanted to go to the sea again. Is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. So, when the waves are waving and when the tides are coming, the author wanted to go to the sea and wanted to move inside deep into the sea. Okay, now the author is telling it is a wild call. So wild call means it is a nature call. That is, the nature is calling him to enjoy the things that are present in the sea. And also he is telling, author is telling that that particular call is very clear. So it is like very clear, so that the sea are calling him very clearly, so that will not be denied means that will not be stopped. Okay, we cannot refuse that particular call. So if someone is calling again and again, we cannot refuse them. Likewise, the seas are calling the author to come and meet him, so that particular call cannot be denied by the author. Okay, that is what has been explained in this particular line. Now we will move on to the next paragraph. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying. So now the author is requesting that he needs a windy day. So we all know a windy day is consist of full of wind in and around. And he also is expecting white clouds flying. So in the sky, the author is expecting that white clouds should be there, and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. And see what and all the author is expecting is, and the flung spray. So we all know flung means to throw. Through means the past tense of throw is through. So to through the spray. So whenever you see the sea waves, when you stand near to the sea and all, that sea water will be sprayed across the people who is standing near the sea. That is on the flung spray. Flung spray means we have to throw the sprays of water, and the blown spume. Spume is nothing but that sea foam. Okay, we call it as sea foam. அந்த கடல்ல இருக்கிற அந்த நுரைகள், கடல் நுரைகள், வெள்ளையா இருக்கக்கூடிய நுரைகள். So that spume is also blown away. Blown means it is coming out from that particular place. And the seagulls crying. So seagull is nothing but it is a bird that lives near sea, which have the short legs and long wings, and it will be having a white or gray colored feathers. So this particular birds are called as seagulls. So the seagulls should be in a crying state. Okay, it will shout, it will produce the noise. So in this particular situation, the author wanted to go inside the sea. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life. So the author is telling, I wanted to see the sea again. That is, he wanted to go deep inside the sea again. So to the vagrant gypsy life. So vagrant means wandering gypsy life. So vagrant means wandering means to move here and there. So he wanted to move around the gypsy life. Gypsy life means to travel from one particular place to another. So we all know that sea is a very big area where we can move around for so many years. So the author is telling that he wanted to move from one place to another place deep inside into the sea. To the gull's way and the whale's way, where the winds like a whetted knife. So the author is telling he wanted to move to the gull's way. Gull means, already I told you, it is the gray or white color seabird which makes the loud noise. So the author wanted to move towards the gulls way. So wherever the gulls are going, so the author was wanted to follow the gulls way and the whale's way. Whale, we all know, it is a sea animal. Okay, so that particular whale's way also he wanted to follow the whale also under the sea, where the winds like a whetted knife. So if you see the wind, okay, the wind will be like a whetted knife. Whetted knife means sharpened knife. The meaning of the word whetted means it is a sharpened knife. So the wind will be blowing in a very sharp way. That is what the author has explained in this particular line. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover. So, what the author is asking is merry yarn. Merry means it is very happy. Yarn means it is a long story. One is imaginary or exaggerated. So, yarn means it is nothing but it is a long story. So that particular story is very imaginary story, which is not very realistic, and also it is very exaggerated. So exaggerated means it is not real, but it has been extended for a long time. So those type of stories are called as yarn. So all the author need is a good merry yarn, that is a happy long story from a laughing fellow rover. Okay, that is he needs a long story from a person, that is from a laughing, he must be smiling fellow rover. So rover is a person who spends time in wandering. So wandering means the person who moves from place to place. So from that particular person, the author wanted to listen to a big long story which is very imaginary and it is also exaggerated, and that particular story should be very happy and quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. So here the tricks means that is the trip or the visit of the poet to the deep inside the sea, that we call it as trick, long trick. So when that trick is getting over, the poet or the author wanted a quiet sleep. So our sleep must be very calm sleep, it should be very relaxed, and a sweet dream, that is the dreams that we that come in our sleep should be very sweet when the long tricks get over. Okay, so when the long trick is getting over, the poet wanted a good quiet sleep and also a sweet dream. Okay, so this is the poem which typically explains about the author's wish towards the sea. Okay, we all know how the sea will look like. It is blue in color, and on the top of the sky, you can see the gray and the white clouds. And when the ship sails in the in the sea, it will be like in a waving form, and also we can see the waves and tides, and also we can see the foam of the sea, and we can see many things in the sea that gives a good relaxation to the human being. So the author tried to explain the importance of the sea, and he wanted to live with the sea, and he wanted to experience the good thing about the sea. Okay, so in our life too, okay, that is the moral of the story is, so in our life too, like a sea, we should take our life in a good manner, where we have to experience things with the full satisfaction, and also we have to enjoy each and every moment of life, and we should live in our life. Okay, that is what the author is trying to explain in this particular poem. Hope you all understood this particular poem. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.